fighters to fly overhead, making sure that the skies are safe. It's called Operation Noble Eagle. Now, these jets fly so high that most of the time you never even know that they're up there doing their job. Their mission is so important, they've only allowed a select few reporters to fly with them.
One of those reporters is right here, our own Tim Trudell, who continues his special assignment.
Well, I'll tell you this, the day before the flight, I spent a few hours in what's called egress training. Essentially, the Air Force wants to make sure you know what to do if something bad happens. They tell you that since your seat has a rocket underneath it, you can eject on the ground and still be able to descend in a parachute. Then, using a simulator, you learn how to rip holes in your canopy to help guide you to the ground. You try to steer clear of things like power lines and trees. So the night before the flight, there were a lot of things going on inside my head. Fortunately, I wouldn't have to use any of that stuff. From the flight line at Hampton's Langley Air Force Base.
A lot of critical infrastructure and other military and a very large population area. And we're here to protect all three.
The 119th Fighter Wing gets its F-16s ready to go.
25,000-pound engine, goes 800 knots or Mach 2. It's designed for air-to-air and air-to-ground fighting.
Faster than twice the speed of sound. At higher altitudes, it's more than 1,500 miles per hour. Outside the flight suit, I put on a G-suit, which will tighten automatically to keep blood in my head when the G-forces try and push it out. A harness will hold me to my seat or parachute, and of course,
there you go.
I get 2 little plastic bags. I'm double ready. As our pilot,
I've been flying in the military since 1990.
Who's known here by his call sign, Drifter, finishes up.
The crew chiefs that we have do an outstanding job of keeping these things top-notch. It's a routine the pilot goes through and double-checks everything's where it should be.
We spent 3 days preparing for what's going to happen right now. We're already strapped in, ready to go. Helmet and mask on.
Langley ground.
A wave forward, then a salute.
The departure at UR.
As we taxi, camera in hand, all 3 line up.
We're going to do afterburner takeoff using all of our 25,000 pounds to take off.
After 2 takeoff before us, here we go. And we're up. Really, in just a few seconds, we're airborne. You're on board with the 119th, the Happy Hooligans. We're on a combat air patrol mission.
Operation Noble Eagle is a series of agencies working together to protect the homeland of the United States.
We get very close. In formation, the fighters are only 4 feet from each other. As we fly right under them, it's an amazing view.
Alert mobile approval is requested.
The other planes are fully loaded, and the ride is smooth up here in Rough Rider country. I can't tell you exactly where we flew or how high because we don't want the wrong people to find out. But we did fly near Richmond and over the Washington area for some time.
Alert mobile.
They're ready to check on a commercial plane in distress, take on drug smugglers, or potentially deal with terrorists. On this mission, Drifter, who's a major and has 2 young children, carries a U.S. flag, which will be given to a retiring officer after the flight.
Alert mobile.
When it's time to refuel, we pull up to a tanker.
We look for some site references. There's a light show underneath.
Each plane gets a name on the radio. Spider 45 goes first, then Spider 46. We're Spider 47. Watch how carefully the pilots have to match the airspeed with the tanker. Keep in mind we're flying about 350 miles per hour right now.
If we can't do it by ourselves, the boom operator will tell us where he wants us.
We pull up looking for the colorful yellow strip on the tanker's belly. Watch as the boom comes right at you and into the top of the F-16 behind the canopy. In just a few minutes, we're off again. We spent about 2.5 hours up here where tight turns have made the horizon difficult to find at times.
After enough exposure, you get used to it and it becomes second nature to you after a while.
Before making our final approach and landing on the ground, he wants to see our hands so we don't run him over. After a series of tests are completed, the warm air inside the cockpit finally escapes. When the hydraulic-powered canopy opens up, we get a chance to cool off. I've never been that thirsty. Minutes later,
I'm proud to do it.
The base stops what it's doing.
Proud to serve my country.
Just another day for most of the people here.
When you get busy, it goes by quickly, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's like we weren't up there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, the busy mission, so we have a lot going on, so time flies when you're having fun.
Indeed, the military doesn't want us using the pilots' names, so that's why we used the Major's call sign, Drifter. He took it pretty easy on me. We never pulled anything like the 9 Gs for 15 seconds that we showed you last night, but when it was over, I think I used up just about every drop of adrenaline I had. Now, this is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. We'll take you inside CONAR, their CONAR Air Operations Center in Florida, tomorrow night.
I saw those 2 plastic bags. How did your stomach hold up?
I was concerned about that the entire time. I didn't eat the entire day because of that. I had an apple and that was it. And you know, I brought this camera along. This is what we used to get pictures of this, and it was nice because you could kind of flip it around like that. Right. So it was fine when I'm sitting there focusing on the camera. But then you put it down and you start to look out the window. That's when you start to get a little sick. So.
Some beautiful images, Tim. We're going to start calling you the happy hooligan.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You.
My wife could use it, my snore. Hey, don't miss part 3 of Tim's special assignment with Operation Noble Eagle.